Welcome to the latest installment of First Sound at Inside the Pylon. My name is Mark Schofield, and today I'm going to take you through another example of a quarterback running the four verticals design and working through some progression reads. There's a previous example of this play scheme that's up on our YouTube page featuring Carson Wentz from this year's national championship game against Jacksonville State. The example we're going to break down in this edition is JMU quarterback Vad Lee in JMU's game this regular season on the road against SMU. And the reason why I wanted to highlight this play is because it's nice when you have an example of two different quarterbacks, two different offenses and offensive schemes running the same exact play, because it's a chance to see how the two quarterbacks approach the play. It's a chance to see how the offensive coaching staff sort of scheme the play and instruct the quarterback to work through his reads. And it's a chance to highlight, some of the similarities or differences in how the two quarterbacks play the position. Looking at this play right now and giving you some context, we can see that JMU faces a 2nd and 6 on their own 42-yard line. Lee is in the shotgun. The Dukes have 11 offensive personnel on the field. They have a single receiver split to the right, and then a tight end wing or trio formation to the left, with the tight end in a wing position here and then two receivers to the outside. The offensive play art is drawn up here, and as you can see, 4 verticals with 3 straight vertical routes, and then since it's a 3-by-1 alignment, the wing tight end right here is going to bend that vertical route across the formation. This is pretty standard for teams that run 4 verticals out of a 3-by-1 alignment. Bringing up the defensive play art in a moment, as you can see, pre-snap SMU shows Lee too high coverage, and again, they're in their base 3-4 defense. You see both safeties, they're pretty wide at the start. We've got one safety over the number 2 receiver. And the free safety over here, he's basically splitting the difference between the right tackle and that receiver split to the right. And they're going to stay with this cover 2 look. They're not going to roll it at the snap. So when the play begins, this is what Lee's going to see. A too high safety look and the underneath zone coverage as indicated. Now before we run through the play, I want to take a moment to just again illustrate and talk about how teams coach the 4 verticals concept. Teams can coach the progression reads for the quarterback in this play structure in different ways. Some teams might have the quarterback only look to one side of the field based on the coverage that he sees. If it's cover 2, you might look first at that outside receiver and then try to hit that inside vertical route. If it's cover 3, you might work between the 2 inside vertical routes and try to bracket that free safety. Other teams go full field from right to left or left to right, depending on how they want the quarterback to start, which side of the field, whether it's based on matchups, whether it's based on coverage indicators, whether it's based on the position of the football on the field, right hash mark versus left hash mark. Here, Lee's going to go full field, and we're going to see it in a moment. He's going to start not to the single receiver to the side, not to the short side of the field, but he's going to his left in the wide side of the field first. He's going to take the snap, as we'll see in a second, and open to his left. He's going to look first at the number 1 receiver that's facing press coverage, right there. And what does he see? The receiver comes inside first, try to beat the press. The defensive back gets a pretty good jam on him right off the snap. And as you can see, or at least with the relation to the number 2 receiver, this receiver, this number 1 receiver, he's behind the play now. Timing is off. Lee sees that, so he comes off of it pretty quickly. Now he's checking the safeties. He's verified again. They haven't rolled coverage. This is cover 2. And he's looking now at his second option, the number 2 receiver. But look what we've got here from the defense. Again, safety over the top and this linebacker here. So that number 2 option, not looking good right now. Now he's coming to his third option. Again, looking at the safeties, he knows that number 3, the tight end, is going to be bending this. But you see the defense. The 3 linebackers are dropping pretty well under this. And here's that free safety just laying in wait. So what does he do next? He comes back to this side. You can't see it. It's kind of bracketed by the scoreboard. But again, the quarterback's in pretty good coverage and position and on this receiver to the outside. The receiver has managed to get off of the jam and work back towards the sideline, but that cornerback's underneath that route pretty well. It doesn't seem to be a good option. Safety is still pretty deep over this guy. So where is he going to go with it? Watch what happens to this safety. Lee comes and looks now again for a second time at the tight end. Safety's trying to split these two routes. That tight end is now coming this way. The safety knows it. But Lee also knows that the safety knows it. Safety's going to jump the tight end. Watch what Lee does. Comes to his fourth read for the touchdown. Here's a look from the end zone camera. We're going to see Lee's eyesight work here. Again, takes the snap right there. He has already looked, and now he's coming back off that receiver, that number one receiver to the left. Comes off of it. Now he's checking the safeties, verified that it's covered two. Now it's time to work through the reads again. Outside, tight end, and finally back to the outside for the touchdown. Going through it again. Takes the snap. Checks there to the outside. Sees the press. Comes back through the inside, through two, through three. Back to the outside, still covered. Works the tight end. Looks off the safety. Drops it in the bucket for the score. Now there are some differences between Lee running the four verticals concept and the previous play I highlighted with Carson Wentz. With Wentz, again, the football was on the right hash mark in a 3-by-1 alignment with a single receiver to the right and three receivers to the left. With the tight end wasn't in a wing, he was on the line of scrimmage. Wentz was under center. He saw a cover 2 look pre-snap. Defense rolled it to cover 3. So he saw a bit of a different look from the defense. He saw a rolled coverage. Wentz made his decision making. His decision making was a little bit quicker in that example. Wentz, by the time he hit his final step on his 5-step drop, he had already looked at the single receiver, then to the bend-in tight end, and came to his third option, which was actually the receiver in the slot. So while the decision making was quicker for Wentz, he only went through 3 reads. Lee, on the other hand, he started with the receiver down here, facing press coverage. Then he came here, and then he came here. Then he went back to the outside here, checked the tight end again, looking off that safety, and coming here. He had more time in the pocket to be sure, but he went through basically 5 reads before finding that guy deep for the touchdown. And remember, he did a great job at looking off that backside safety, that free safety, getting him to bite on that bend-in vertical route from the tight end before dropping in a great throw in the bucket. The other thing that I wanted to highlight between the two is just the simple fact that we see how teams coach this route in different ways. With Lee, in a 3-by-1 with the football on the right hash mark, he opens to the left, to the wide side of the field, to the 3 receiver side, working from left to right, from outside to in, from the widest receiver back towards the other side of the formation. Wentz, again, under center, 3-by-1, football on the right hash mark. He started on the right side, looked at the single receiver first, and then worked across the field. Is there any reasoning for that? Teams coach it differently. Teams have better thoughts on how they can attack a defense with the football, with this play design, with the football on the right hash mark or the left hash mark. Does it say anything about the 2 quarterbacks and how they are trusted to make this read? No, it doesn't at all. In both cases, the quarterback, whether it was Wentz or Lee in this case, worked through their reads, showed some good patience in getting through their read structure, and made a good decision with the football. Wentz's reads and his progression reads were faster. He got the ball out on time, hit his fifth step, had his mind made up, and made a throw. Lee had a little bit more time in the pocket. His decision was a little bit slower, but again, he went basically through a 5-receiver full field read where he went left to right on the trip side, came back, checked the outside, looked off the safety, and dropped in a beautiful deep ball for a touchdown. Differences between the two quarterbacks, to be sure. Both quarterbacks made a great decision, made a very good throw, and in Lee's case, his great throw went for a touchdown, including a great job of manipulating that backside safety late in the play. Thank you for watching this edition of First Sound at Inside the Pylon. My name is Mark Schofield, and I'd invite you to take a look at InsideThePylon.com for more content such as this video and our articles on the website. You can also check out 17 Drives, a book published by Inside the Pylon, written by yours truly, that takes readers through the 17 most critical drives of the 2015-2016 college football season, including play breakdowns and diagrams for each of the plays. Thank you.